Mike Kaye covers the Philadelphia Eagles for NJ.com at Mike_E_K is how you follow him on Twitter. Chat with him as much as we can about what's happening down there at camp. Mike, the longest day of camp for the Eagles today. Is that accurate?
Yeah, and boy, did we feel it. I mean, it was hot. It was tedious. There was a lot going on. I got a ton of notes, so I'm ready for your questions whenever you are ready.
What's the biggest thing or the most important thing that popped from today's practice? Who reminded you of some Hall of Famer? Like, was there a tight end that looked like Mark Bavaro? Was there a wide receiver that reminded you of Jerry Rice out there, or was there something maybe bigger?
Sidney Jones kind of looked like Asante Samuel today. I mean, he was jumping routes and breaking up passes and getting pit, and he got an interception. Sidney Jones is the defensive MVP of this week. There's nobody else that even comes close to the performance that he's had. He has made a lot of splash plays, several pass breakups, 2 interceptions throughout the week. This guy, I mean, throughout training camp, he's got 3 interceptions. I don't know anybody who comes close. So he's been a guy that's really been on fire as of late.
Well, that's great news. I mean, because this is a big year for him to live up to, the draft pick and, all the idea that he was really a top 15 talent that the Eagles got in the second round. Now, tell us about Miles Sanders, because I understand he put a scare into the Eagles fan base as they were following you guys' detailed practice on Twitter.
Yeah, so during 11-on-11 drills, Miles Sanders took a handoff from the shotgun formation and immediately was dropped into a pile of bodies. He didn't get up until he was lifted by the training staff, and he walked gingerly to the sideline and then eventually the medical tent. After about 10 to 15 minutes, he kind of came back. He had his helmet in his hand and returned to the sideline, which is a really good sign. Typically, when an injury like that happens, they're headed to the locker room or the trainer's room right away. He came back. Doug Peterson said that they're still going to do some more tests on his foot, but everything looks pretty good right now, which is a huge – I mean, the sound you hear is a huge sigh of relief from every Eagles fan in the area, because Miles Sanders is going to have a very big role with this team. He may not be the workhorse back, he may not be the lead back, but he's definitely going to be heavily involved in this Eagles offense.
Is there a way that you can explain a little bit, and I know it's so early, and he was dealing with injury issue in the OTAs, and now, as you mentioned, being off the field for a little bit today. Is there a way that you can kind of further explain what you've seen, how they've integrated him in the offense, so fans can kind of anticipate what to expect actually on the field from a football standpoint?
Absolutely. He's had some really good highlight plays. He had him earlier on in the week. There was a play that showed off his receiving ability. Carson Wentz put a perfect bucket throw right in front of him when he ran a wheel route. He was mismatched against Vinnie Curry and just blazed past him, caught the ball cleanly. He looked good as a receiver. They've tried to force the issue with him as a receiver out of the backfield. Then as a runner, he's very smooth. Like his run-cut ability is very impressive. He's gotten some big runs out of some big holes with pads on, so that's encouraging. He also had a touchdown on a 5-yard run a couple of days ago where he literally rammed through a bunch of bodies. And I think his toughness is going to be, a hallmark of his game, because I think a lot of people are expecting LaShawn McCoy. He's not LaShawn McCoy. He's a bigger back. Well, he's not a bigger back, but he's a tougher back. He goes in between the tackles. He's ready to run up the middle whenever you give him the opportunity. He can bounce outside and he can cut, but he's more of a north to south runner than advertised. He's also a pretty good receiver out of the backfield.
Mike Kaye, NJ.com, talking Eagles here on the Lighthouse Insurance guest line. Follow him on Twitter at Mike_E_K, Kaye. All right, Mike, I see you got a piece on here from Isaac Seumalo. Of course, he's got the new contract. The Eagles, have decided that he's the left guard. But it says here, that he wants to be a dominant player. What have you seen from Seumalo that might give you reason to think that he could be?
I mean, he's looked pretty good. Most of the penetration through the offensive line has been on the right side, where Big V has been working, and Lane Johnson occasionally has taken some plays off. But he's looked good. You don't notice him in practice, which I think is a really good sign at this point. he's the only guy on the projected starting line that has not been to a Pro Bowl or been an All-Pro selection. He's the guy. He's the last guy anybody thinks of when they talk about the offensive line. He doesn't want to be the first guy that everybody thinks of because he's messing up, but he wants to be held to that same standard as Jason Kelsey, Jason Peters, Brandon Brooks, and Lane Johnson. And he said he was really happy to see that Kelsey and Peters, his two offensive line neighbors, return for the season.
Is there any real concern about the line outside of health? I know health is always an issue, but when you look at depth or you just look at raw talent, is there any concern? Because we know this is the year. Carson Wentz is healthy, the full offseason. Nick Foles already took care of winning that Super Bowl, so it's all on protecting Carson Wentz. Is there any deeper concern?
Well, I don't know if it's a concern as opposed to a weird way of handling the offensive line depth. When you look at the backups, Andre Dillard's focusing purely on left tackle. Big V is working at right guard, and Stefan Wisniewski is having really bad issues with snapping the football as a backup center. So the thinking might be that you use Dillard as the backup left tackle only. You use Wisniewski as a swing between the center and left guard positions. You can always move Seumalo to center and Wisniewski to left guard if Kelsey were to be injured. And then you have Big V focus on right guard and right tackle. Instead of being a swing tackle, he's just a swing on the right side where he can back up Brandon Brooks and he can back up Lane Johnson. That, to me, makes the most sense. It's still very odd. Teams in the NFL don't typically do that. But it is interesting when you consider how much depth they have and how much experience they have on that line.
Hey, Mike, I was reading something this morning that said that the defense is ahead of the offense thus far in these early practices. First of all, do you agree with that from what you've been watching? And who outside of Sidney Jones has jumped out at you on the defensive side of the ball?
I think when they're in pads, the defense is definitely ahead of the offense. Another guy that's really stood out is Kamut Grugier-Hill, who's been the lone constant at linebacker throughout the offseason program, throughout training camp. He's been one of their two nickel linebackers along with Nathan Gary, with Nigel Brown sitting out of team drills. Kamut Grugier-Hill has 2 interceptions this week. He has made a handful of pass breakups. He's looked very good against the run. If he can really evolve as a player, you could see him being the long-term replacement for Nigel Bradham because he can play all 3 linebacker spots. He's extremely athletic. He's got a lot of potential as a coverage linebacker. And he's in a contract year, and the Eagles really have an opportunity here to buy low on him if they sign him during camp to an extension or during the season. He's a guy that could be a long-term, star for this team on special teams and defense. Another guy on defense that's really caught my eye is Trayvon Hester, the guy that blocked Cody Parkey's field goal in the Chicago Bears game. He's looked like a guy who's made a lot of penetration through the line. He's kind of bullied second-team offensive linemen. He's a guy that's on the outside looking in if you're looking at the defensive tackle rotation because they brought in Malik Jackson, they brought back Timmy Jernigan, and then they traded for Hassan Ridgeway, plus Fletcher Cox is coming back. So he's fighting an uphill battle, but he's still in the running. And then Andrew Zendejos, who everybody is kind of kicked out of town due to that compensatory pick formula situation, he's looked very good next to Malcolm Jenkins with Rodney McLeod sitting out of practice.
Mike, appreciate the time, brother. Last one for you. Just to look at a really, really early prediction of week 1 of the regular season, but kind of based on injury and who's not there. In your estimation, who will be the starting cornerbacks week 1 for the Philadelphia Eagles?
It's looking like Ronald Darby, Avonte Maddox, and Rasul Douglas. But Sidney Jones, if he continues to play the way he does and shows durability, I could see him easily, taking Douglas's spot. Douglas has been the best cover corner in camp, but Jones has made the splashier plays, which is kind of surprising when you consider both their histories.
Great stuff, Mike.
Great stuff, Mike. Thanks.
Long day. Appreciate the time today.
Have a great one, guys.